Over the past 50 years, there seems to me to have been quite a push or an attack, if you like, against the family. The wonderful family unit of mum, dad, and half a dozen offspring. Maybe not that many, maybe one or two or three young little kiddywinks running around the floor, growing up and being looked after by their mother and father. And this family unit, which of course has gone back to, well, back to whenever man was created or developed or crawled out the sea, whatever the real history of our existence as, well, I want to say human, but human is a strange word because it's like human, the colour of man. But this anatomical creature that we are, that runs about and enjoys this wonderful planet. And for a long time, the family unit has been absolutely revered and looked at with respect, and it's been a beautiful thing. But over the last 50 odd years, have you not seen in the media, it does seem that this has been one of the last bastions to be broken up. The father in so many adverts has been seen to be inept, clumsy, particularly if you happen to be of a certain race these days, to these lands. If, like me, if you happen to have the things that I am, slightly older than normal, of a certain colour, we are depicted in the media as inept and almost invisible, to be honest with you. And then there's all this other agenda stuff to do with people's strange, quirky sexual behaviours and wants and things. And I met somebody the other day who came round and they said, you know, I'm a bit of an activist. I like to push back against these things that are pushing the family down. And I thought, well, that's very laudable. And they wanted to get in and be confrontational and tell people they were wrong and the family is the right way and all of this. And I thought to myself, but that's great. But what we ought to be doing, really, instead of getting into confrontation all the time and sort of arguing and not really getting anywhere, is actually, instead of all of that, and we can do a bit of that, but what would be great is to really just promote the family, promote the greatness of having a mother and a father looking after the boys and girls who are the offspring of them, and the greater family unit of granddad and grandma and aunts and uncles, and bringing that family back to being the most important thing, because it's so fantastic, is it not, to have members of the family who can help you in times of stress and that you all get together. One of the ways that the family has been broken up, of course, is this insistence that that younger people go to universities, and these universities happen to be miles away from each other. And so as a result of that, the people who go to these universities obviously become friendly with other people, and they may be 100 or 200 miles away, and they're living there for sort of 3 or 4 years. And at the end of it, that has become their home. Their original roots and their families are way, way away, and then they barely see their mother and their father or their aunts and uncles. And then before you know it, they've married and they've got a job in that area and they've had offspring, and now that family is miles away from the original roots. That does seem to be one way in which the family structure has been deliberately broken up. You may disagree, and of course you're very welcome to disagree. Another way that the family unit has been broken up, which I think is really appalling, is the fact that television at meal times has become the thing that people sit down on a sofa, maybe together, and they sit there with their TV dinners watching something instead of talking amongst each other, instead of sharing that meal. But far better, get rid of the television, absolutely, where somebody else is telling you how to think, what to concern you, telling you terrible news events that are happening in different parts of the world that really have got nothing to do with you whatsoever, and is sapping your energy. Turn all of that nonsense off. Most of it's lies anyway, and sit around the table with the family, with your children with you, and you're sitting there and you're talking about their day and listening to what their ideas are, allowing them to question what is going on in their world, which may be very small, of course, being children. But they may have heard things, and asking adults and adults asking their children and treating them as another member of their group, as a human being, if you like, treating them with dignity and respect in each of you. I think that mealtime time is such a great and important builder for families, with the mothers and the fathers and the various roles that each of us have. And without it, with kids sitting upstairs on their computers with this sort of quick TV dinner that's has no nutrients in it, it is very difficult now, because to promote the family and those old-fashioned ideas, people will jump on you very quickly and say, oh, but that's sexist, if you mention that the mother used to be there nurturing the children in the family home, providing the food, whilst the husband or the man or the partner, the male partner, was out doing what male people used to do in the old days, and providing, going out looking for food, looking for the things that the family unit would need, and being part of the community to protect each other in that community, in a male way that they used to do. And we need to get back to that. To me, we're too busy sort of getting on social media and talking about, oh, isn't this sort of thing, the trans business is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong. And all we're doing is giving it more credence by talking about it, instead of talking about the fantastic family unit, about mum and dad going out. Now, I know there's a lot of one-parent families out there, and people will be going, well, that's all very well, Richard, but what about the one-parent families? What about the fathers who are, and it's principally fathers, and I admit some mothers are in this situation, with the child maintenance, and they're being attacked left, right and centre, and the money being extracted because the family is actually broken up. And I appreciate these things are going on, and it's a challenge. No one's saying it's not a challenge. Of course it's a big challenge. But if we want to hold this world together, if in principle we understand that a man and a woman in a great union can bring wonderful boys and girls into this world, the most important thing is the next generation, preparing them for their own lives so they can make their own decisions, preparing them in a way so that they can push back against big global narratives, that they can have common sense, that they can reason things out for themselves, have critical thinking. These are the roles that mums and dads, mothers and fathers should be there for their children, instead of allowing those children to just disappear in front of screens where others, more nefarious people, are creating a narrative which is programming them. The family unit has so much to give, so much life to live in this wonderful and amazing world, that we should be talking, we should be singing this from the rafters about this. We should be promoting the family, the cohesive family. And yes, of course, there's one-parent families and people struggling, and we should be obviously supporting those people and helping them and embracing them, so that the next generation are not going to be split even further, where we're all against each other. This is such an important thing, to bring the family back, to bring people back together again, so that families can be cohesive with one another, bring their friends and families around the table and discuss things openly, have differences of opinion, for goodness sake, and still be able to get on. So somebody might say, I don't believe in this man-made global warming, and somebody else may say, but I think it's true. But at least you can talk about it. You can have a laugh whilst you have whatever food that you decide to eat, and you're breaking bread with each and every one of them. The family unit is so important that we ought to be talking about it all the time. And that, to me, is how we help save a lot of humanity, if you like, from this ever pushing us apart, dividing us and conquering, that the forces that want to take over and want to control us and keep us separate and control our mind would like. But no, Let us take back what is biologically normal, what is part of this living. Bring back that family and some of those roles that we traditionally did, in which we are nurturing the next generation and preparing them so that they, as I say, can be as independent and free thinkers as they are going to need to be to push against all the pressures that are coming forward. I know we can do it, and I know that you are on the side and can do it also.